After those long dark nights, now my world is bright. Islam is my sight. Now I found the light. After those long dark nights, now my world is bright. Islam is my sight. Now my world is bright.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to The Straight Path. I'm your host, Fuad Muhammad. The rising rate of domestic violence, abuse, divorce are all results of a family foundation that is not set up properly. And of course, Islam places the greater responsibility of the family on the shoulders of the man. How can he change all of this? And how can he follow the ideal husband which existed 1400 years ago? And that is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. To talk more about being the ideal husband and how to deal with problems and how to prepare yourself to be that ideal husband, we have with us Sheikh Muhammad Sayyid Adli. He is the Imam and Director of the Islamic Center of Columbia, South Carolina, USA. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khair for being with us today as well.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, we've heard about the family. We've spoke about the family as well before on The Straight Path. And we know that both spouses, they play a great role in establishing, maintaining, and making the family something that stands up, especially in these times of fitna. And as we say, especially in the modern times, the change of cultures, the mixing, the Western culture coming into the East, the Eastern culture, and so forth. Let us look at the person who has the greater responsibility, the husband. And before we go into that, let's look at the way the Prophet ﷺ was, and he was a husband. How was the way he carried out? And some people are of the misconception that we only have to follow the Prophet ﷺ in the way he worshipped Allah.
Okay. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying in Quran, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرِ. Indeed, you have the most perfect example in the Prophet of Allah for those who believe and hoping to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you have this faith and this belief that you're going to meet with Allah in the day of judgment, let the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam be your leader, your imam, your example. And he didn't say in what. So he said you have the most perfect example in the Prophet. The way how he talk, the way how he deal with people, the way how he communicate, in everything. And even if we say that this is only for the worship of Allah, who told you that marriage is not part of the worshiping of Allah? You are building the unit that is going to worship Allah. You making a small jama'ah, a small community. And this comes to assist the Muslim ummah and also for producing children that they're going to carry the worship of Allah. So how is this could not be ibadah? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying that whomsoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him a righteous woman, Allah had assisted him with half of his deen. So let him fear Allah in the rest of the deen. So, and the Prophet saying, وَفِي بِضْعِ أَحَدِكُمْ صَدَقَةً. And having an intimate relationship with your wife, it is a charity. The Sahaba say, O Prophet of Allah, have one of us fulfill his desire and get in a charity. He say, look, if he do it with somebody that is not his wife, will be committing sins? He said, yes. Say so, if he fulfills this with one who's halal for him, he will get a charity. So we are not separating or making salah is ibadah and marriage is not ibadah. How not? And this is what Allah made it for you to be means to lower your gaze. يا معشر الشباب من استطاع منكم الباء فليتزوج. O young men, those who have the means, let him get married. Why? He said because it helps you to lower your gaze, protect your private parts. So if you did zina, fornication, adultery, is this not haram? So now you avoided this through the marriage. So this is not ibadah now. So marriage is part of our ibadah and our relation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes.
And making ihsan to your wife. Okay, some people think that the charity, good treatment, people in the mosque, Islamic center, and this it. But what your wife? You can be kind to her. You can be good. And more than this, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying about a woman who fulfill the duties, صلت خمسها, صامت شهرها, حفظت فرجها, وأطاعت بعلها, قيل لها يوم القيامة ادخلي جنة من أي باب شئت. If a Muslim woman do her 5-time prayers, fast the Ramadan, protect her private parts, and be devoted, obedient to her husband, it will be said to her in the day of judgment, enter from any place, any gate you want. So marriage, okay, it is part of the ibadah of Allah.
Subhanallah.
Yes.
Subhanallah.
Many
And
rules in Islam about marriage, divorce, consultation, children.
Subhanallah. I'm going to deviate you from the topic for just a split second, Sheikh. You said that you were telling us just now that the Prophet ﷺ was a person who was kind and he was a good husband.
Yes.
Let's look at the marriage of the Prophet ﷺ. Why is it that Islam encouraged the most noble personality that practiced the deen in the fullest, compared to other religion where marriage is something seen to be for the person who are not that close to God? If you can shed some light here.
الدنيا متاع وخير متاعها المرأة الصالحة. Life or this dunya is enjoyment, and the best enjoyment of this life is a righteous woman, not a woman, a righteous woman.
Yes.
When he looks at her, it pleases him. When he command her, she will listen to him, she will obey him. When he leaves her to go someplace, she will protect his property and his children.
Yes.
So is the deen, is the akhlaq, is the discipline. This is gives the real beauty of a woman, make a woman to be more special than being only a woman. So this is what we're looking for. And don't forget, she's going to be the first teacher to your children.
Subhanallah.
So you need a good foundation.
Yeah, but the point of what I wanted to get at as well, Sheikh, is that the Prophet, who seemed to be very in Islam, of course, and I'm asking you this question on behalf of non-Muslims who would have this question. For example, in Christianity, to be close to God, you don't have to marry. This is one of the saints. They don't get married, right? And for the nuns, they don't get married. But why the Prophet ﷺ, which is the most noblest person that existed in the faith of Islam, he came and got married? How can we weigh the two out?
Because this is what I'm saying. Marriage is part of your religion. It's going to help you to lower your gaze. He's a prophet, but he's still a human being. He has a desire, okay? He wants a family. He wants to see children, okay? Plus, he's a human being. He has needs and wants.
Yes.
Okay? And also to set by his example a way for the people how to treat their wives.
Yes.
So this is became a means to help us, and also the Prophet ﷺ to be more devoted and capable and able to fulfill the duties as a prophet, as a slave servant of Allah. So this is something to enhance and to help and to assist you to worship Allah. So it's no contradiction.
Okay.
It's no contradiction between a prophet and being married, because this brings you closer to Allah.
Yes, subhanallah.
Yeah.
Sheikh, let us look from the very beginning now. For example, in the West, it's going to be the teenagers will be thinking about this, different age level, but the people who are thinking of getting married, especially because we're talking about the ideal husband, the young Muslim male, he's thinking that when I get married, of course, it's the wish of everyone, Sheikh, that I want the ideal family. I want to be the ideal person to bring up ideal children, to follow. And of course, not everyone with deep regret says that we want to establish an ideal Muslim family. But what advice can you give the young Muslim youths, the males of course, in terms of preparation before marriage to being that ideal husband?
To be the ideal husband, first, like we said, the Prophet ﷺ is our example. We need to read his life. The life that not in the mosque or in the street We need to see the life that was behind doors. How he relate to his wives, how he treats them, how he kind to them, how he even assisted them in the house sometimes. This is something very important. But you found the Prophet, he himself given an instruction to the young men. He said, "Man istata'a minkum al-ba'a," those who have the means to get married. Okay? So we could not be jumping in marriage because we want to fulfill our desires. There is needs and there is wants, and you're going to be responsible. الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم. Okay? Men are in charge of women because what Allah had exalted one over the other, and because what they spend. So you could not, because you want to get married, you get married. Do you have the means? This was Islam telling you. If you have the means, get married. You don't, fast. So we don't want our young men, because they want to get married, they get married, but they have to understand there is a responsibility, there is obligation. Okay? And you don't want to understand somebody to start telling you, you didn't pay the electric bill, now we're sitting in the dark. And now you are going to like your wife saying this to you. Yes. And now we're going to start the trouble. So you have to understand about your responsibility.
Yes.
And also, it's not only financially. We have to know, are we really ready to carry this responsibility?
Yes.
Do we have this patience for somebody to speak back to me or refuse something? How are you going to deal with it? You see, the Prophet ﷺ never hit something with his hand. Not a slave, not a woman. Okay? Unless he making jihad in the cause of Allah. In the battlefield, he would use his hand physically. Other than this, the Prophet ﷺ never hit a slave or a woman.
Subhanallah.
You see? Anas, look, Anas, not a wife. Anas, he's his servant. He said, خدمت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم 10 سنين. I served the Prophet ﷺ for 10 years. He never said to me, admonish me about something I did, which I'm not supposed to do it. Why did he do it? Neither he ever admonished me about something that I didn't do, I supposed to do. Why he didn't do this? If the Prophet ﷺ doing this with his servant, can you imagine how the Prophet with his wife?
Subhanallah. Subhanallah.
So we need this young men to grow physically, mentally, spiritually, economically, to be prepared. It's a responsibility.
Yes.
Today you are one man. Tomorrow you're going to be two people now, you and her. A year or two you're going to be you and her and a little one. You see? Are you ready for this responsibility?
Okay. Let us look at this now. And it's something that we see in especially in these times. Let us look at this, the word responsibility here, of being that ideal husband. Economic. Everyone believes that you have to have a PhD or a master's or a degree at least before you marry. And this is one of the reasons why we can, especially the young Muslim males, they fall into fornication and this before marriage.
Boyfriend, girlfriend,
especially in the university life. Let us just take a little a little path from the topic.
No problem.
From the parents.
Okay.
How can they help that person with this responsibility?
First of all, I disagree with this statement about he have to have a certain degree. Is our greed, because we want a special standard of life.
Yes.
If I find a woman that who ready to live according, you see, my standard of living or whatever it is. So you try to tell me everybody with a master degree and PhD degree, everybody marries that you have a master degree? Of course it's not. Okay? But our greed that we want this and that and this and that. So actually you are not marrying the man because his manhood or because his religion. You marrying his degree, how much money he's going to be making and how much you're going to be saving for yourself and what kind of furniture you're going to have. So the whole thing now became focusing about material thing, about the dunya. It's not about how to build a